Hey guys, welcome back to Rockford Ordnance. We are at the range today and we have brought our Aero Precision Dmr. I've been messing with this rifle for well over a year. Finally got it and its loads to the point where I think it's ready. And we're for once using a shell catcher so we can catch our rounds and not have them flying all over. The older I get, the harder it is to bend over and pick it up. So we're trying out some ammo today. We're going to show you all about this thing, tell you all about it, and do some shooting. So come on along, let's check it out. Alright boys and girls, we are back at the shop, and I figured I'd just go over this rifle before we got to all the fun stuff, right? What's different about this review is we've been using this rifle for year and a half, maybe 2 years, which is not the way it usually goes. Usually, you get something, you maybe do an unboxing, you take it to the range, you run it through its original paces and give your initial thoughts and tell a little bit about it, and you're on your way, right? Well, here we've had the chance to really run this thing. All kinds of loads, everything, and it's performed just great. We've really got it dialed in now, and we can tell you the pros, the cons, and everything in between. So I had to do a little research again because it's been so long since we were going through all the components that are in this thing. So I went back through to refresh my memory a bit. But essentially, it is an Aero Precision M4E1 enhanced receiver. The only difference is that the barrel nut, the way you mount the handguard, is forged right into the receiver. So if I were to pull this off, you'd see this big solid chunk of aluminum here that it mounts to. It does a couple things. Less hardware, easier to put together and mount, and it's part of the receiver. So any weight that's put on this handguard is transferred direct to the receiver, not to the barrel or the barrel nut per se. There is a barrel nut, however, it goes inside that forging. It comes with the nut and the wrench to do it, so that's a big plus. Real quick, that being said, if you wanted to use this handguard, which is the Aero Precision Enhanced handguard, you can. You just have to get their BAR style nut or another BAR style system, and you could use it on any rifle. Anyhow, the lower is just Aero Precision M4E1. I say just, but if you've watched the channel for a while, that's all we use. They're great receivers. Few features that regular mil-spec receivers don't have. Flared mag well, some new, more modern angular cuts, deeper wells here so you don't hit the mag release, stuff like that. And instead of roll pins, there's screws so you don't have to drive roll pins and risk scratching the receiver. And to answer questions whether or not those screws come loose, maybe some people are afraid of that. 8, 9, 10 of these rifles, running them for years. This one in 2 years, nothing's come loose at all. They work just fine. So that's a big plus. The trigger guard is part of the lower receiver, and it's even got lightning cuts. Just a great receiver overall. We've been very happy with them. And this enhanced one has proved to be even better, as the gun is very accurate. So we'll start at the back, we'll work forward on the rest of it. Magpul CTR stock, just very kind of normal everyday stock. The thing I like about them is once you set it where you want, you push up and it locks it in, so there's no rattle whatsoever. Our buffer tube, although we've got a 20-inch barrel on this with a rifle length gas system in this DMR style setup, we went with a carbine length receiver extension, and it's made by UTG, but it's one of their products made here in the US, so it falls under their Pro line. It came Cerakoted already, which was nice, and why we ended up with it. The buffer and spring are standard weight carbine carbine length buffer and H1 buffer from Aero Precision. And then the lower parts kit is also Aero Precision. Magpul K2 grip. I like these because they're much more straight up and down. If you're of smaller stature, which I'm not, but if you're of smaller stature, it's a more straight up and down grip and easier for people that are using rifles at a short length of pull, meaning in closer. But I also find it's nice from shooting from the bench. I like it on just about everything. We run them on our most of our pistols, like our Scorpions, all kinds of stuff. They're just nice grips. Anyhow, moving forward, a Rise Armament charging handle. This might be the only thing I would change out, and not because it's Rise Armament, simply because it's not ambidextrous and it's a rather small latch. So with this large scope and mounting it where I am for eye relief, it's hard to get to, right? It'd be nice to have Aero's, that new large one they have. It's fine for getting to it from this side, no big deal, but just could be easier. So we'll probably go with a bigger one. Initially I thought something a little sleeker wouldn't get in the way, but as it turns out, that's just one of the changes we're going to make. We talked about a lower part kit. Trigger, Rise Armament 434. Love these triggers. They're drop-in cassette triggers. And let's see here. Super, about a 2.5 pound pull, 3 pound, and super short with no take up and 0 over travel, and the reset is almost non-existent. So they are super fast. Makes for a very accurate rifle, and I like them. I also like the straight bow and the flat front. It's just comfortable and just feels good. Alrighty, mags, just typical Magpul. This is the version 3 or M3 with the windows. Nice mags, and they happen to match. We do run a shell catcher on this, and it's just a Coldwell or something. This is the little mechanism to mount it to. They sell extras of these so you can put them on more than one rifle and move your shell catcher between them. We talked about the handguard. That is the Aero Precision Enhanced Handguard. It's got a pick rail all the way down on top, and then M-lock at 3, 6, and 9. It also has QD mounts at 3, 6, and 9 in the back, and up front we've put a Bravo Company QD mount. We also have a Magpul angled foregrip on it. Just nice when handling a longer rifle like this. Gives us a place to kind of hook our finger and pull the rifle in. Also, from time to time, not all the time, but we run these Magpul bipods. They're a combo of steel and polymer, and they're nice and stiff. You can set them where you can pan, or you can loosen it, flip it around, tighten it back up again, and no pan. And then you can also tilt a certain amount of degrees. You can set it to fold forward or back. Right now I've got it set to fold forward, or back rather, but usually it's folded forward. Also, the knob to tighten it here. It's knurled, really nicely knurled. You can really crank on this thing to get it tight. And then the centerpiece here is polymer, so you can use that as like a balancing point. Oh, I don't know, on a fence rail or top of a car or something like that. And it's not going to slide as much. It's kind of rubberized. It's nice. Depending how we're running it, we'll run it back, we'll run it forward. Just depends. What else? We'll get to the optic, I think, on a video of its own, but it's a primary arms GLX4, and it's a 2.5 by 10, so it kind of fits that DMR roll really, really well. With the 2.5, you can still use it in CQB. It's first focal plane, so meaning the reticle changes size as you adjust the power, and the settings on the ACS reticle are good at every power, not just the highest power. Although that being said, down at the low powers, that reticle shrinks way down. It's really kind of hard to read when it's that small. But that's kind of a plus, because when you got it all the way down, it's so small it acts like a red dot. So it works perfect for CQB, and as you go up in power, it gets bigger. And what do you know, by the time you're at 10 power, you can use all the drops, you can use the windage adjustment, and all that other good stuff. It's got locking turrets that return to 0, so I can crank it anywhere if I forget where I'm at. Just bring it back, it locks in for elevation as well as windage. And the nice thing on elevation is I can, although it's got 0 stop and 0 lock, I can hit the button and I can actually go negative or down about 4 clicks without having to readjust my 0 stop. So I can get a little bit of play should I be, say I'm sighted in for a certain round and I'm shooting some a little slower that day, and I need to drop it a little. I can do that without having to reset everything. Just a nice scope. The only drawback to this is it's a mill scope as opposed to MOA, and I knew that when I bought it, and I thought, well, let's try it out. But it was really cheap. It was like under 300 bucks, and the scope goes for over 1,000 now. That being said, when you have one mil scope and everything else you have is MOA, it can throw you off from time to time. I find myself adjusting and then, oh yeah, I forget, and it's mil, and we got to go back to that and figure that. So lighted reticle and the primary arms mount, it's just a fantastic scope. The glass is crystal clear, crystal, super nice for this price point scope. The other thing I will say are the trackability of these turrets. So there's no mush in these things, and the reason being is they're not brass or plastic or anything like that, they're steel. So you get no mush, they will not wear out as the scope gets older. The clicks are very defined, they're audible, you can hear them, and all in all, it's just really nice. I mean, it's a step above that entry-level normal stuff, and quite a step above. It would take a lot of scope to get past this as far as glass goes. Oh, what else? Our safety here, who makes that? It's a short throw. You can do a normal 90-degree throw or a 45-degree throw. I run it at the 45, and this is made by the same people that make the charging handles, Radiant Raptor. It's made by them, and I really like it. So we've started to use these on just about everything as well. I like the short throw, very positive, easy to put on, no set screws. They slide over and lock in automatically. You have to push the pin in to get it off. So you're not going to lose them. The set screw's not going to come loose, something like that, and they just work great. So we like them. Did I miss anything? I don't know. Oh, barrel. Barrel, very important. So the barrel is a ballistic advantage. It's a government profile, 20-inch rifle-length gas system, 1 in 7 twist. So the great thing about it is it stabilizes 55 grain. It stabilizes 53 grain that we've shot out of it, 68 and 75 magnificently. So it's just I keep waiting for something not to stabilize out of it on the light side or something, and it doesn't. And with those heavy pills, it works fabulous. I've been loading a ton of 75 grain for it, a lot of 68 grain, but 55 just runs great too. And it's just as accurate with either, it seems to be. Just really nice. Just an A2 style birdcage flash hider. Nothing special there. Maybe we'll change that out. Really hasn't bothered me. Don't really need a comp. You know, this awesome recoil of the 223 cartridge needs to be tamed, doesn't it? No, that's kind of a joke. But no, it works just fine. Might go to a 4-prong, but then sometimes you get that ping and I don't like it. So we'll leave that alone. It's been working just fine. And then, last but not least, the bolt carrier. We went with a nickel boron. It's the only nickel boron carrier I have in all my rifles. This one's made by Fail Zero, and it's failed zero. It's held up really well. Nickel boron's okay. You know, people buy it because they say it cleans up better and all. Frankly, I find that the nitrided carriers by Aero clean up the best. I can literally just wipe them off and they don't hold any carbon, nothing. This nickel boron, it'll get dirty. The problem is they start to tarnish and then you buff them and whatnot. I buff this one all the time. It does come out nice, shiny and clean looking and all that good stuff. But the bottom line is it works. It's a top of the line carrier. It's an M16 profile. It's been magnetic particle inspected and all that good stuff. The keys are staked, all of that, and it's held up really well. Let's see if our charging handle broke when it fell. No, amazing. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Rise Armament. I believe it is 7075 too, as is our receiver and everything else. All of that. Can't think if we missed anything. I don't think so. I think that's about all she wrote. So let's get back to the range and check out this baby shooting a little and show you how it does. Real quick, as far as wear and everything, everything's held up fabulous, including the Cerakote on this. It's got a couple little nicks and stuff from throwing it over fences and barrels, 3-gun, that kind of different stuff. And it's worn a little off the top here from the charging handle, but everything's held up wonderfully. No wear. The barrel is still nice and crisp on the rifling. Everything's held up. We've had nothing go wrong with it at all. So can't complain. All right, here we go, guys. So we're just shooting some 55 grain through this, and we were a little high. We were set up last time for bigger pills, but dead on left to right. So let's see if we got our elevation right now. This Aero Precision is really coming to its own. Well, guys, I really like this rifle. So what you haven't seen over the last year or so, I've been shooting the heck out of this thing. I built it kind of as a DMR. It's got the perfect scope for a DMR. It's got a primary arms 2x10. It's one of the Gold series. Really, really nice glass. The only thing I don't like about it is it's set up in mils instead of MOA. I wish I would have got the MOA, but it was on sale. It's normally like an $800-900, maybe even $1,000 now. But I got it for under $300, like $279, something like that, when they were switching models. It's got 0 stops, just really nice glass. Lighted reticle, ACSS reticle, the whole 9 yards. Just really nice. Sorry, sun's doing weird things now. It's almost sunset, so kind of hard to see. But let's take a look at these shots. All right. So our first group, we had been adjusted for, we were shooting over 200 and shooting 75 grain bullets. And we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our second group was right there. 1.5 MOA maybe, not too great. Then what you just saw me shoot was that one we just showed you, and then this one. 5 there. Too bad on that lower one there, huh? Would have been super nice, but still a nice group. And then here we go, the last one we shot. That's definitely MOA. So not too shabby. Oh wait, you've had the center one then too. I forgot. Yeah, I knew I put 5 there. Must have loaded an extra round, but decent group. One flyer there. I knew I had put that up there. But that's just 55 grain. And the nice thing is, this thing is a 1-in-7 twist barrel. Ballistic Advantage barrel, 1-in-7. Heavy barrel, got a heavy profile, and but really nice, and it really stabilizes those 68 grains, 75 grains, and more. But we'll be shooting some of that next, and we'll see how that does. So one thing we're using now is a shell catcher. I had had it for a long time, but just wasn't using it for some reason. And there's a little attachment on the rail here that allows you to put it on, and they sell extra ones so you can move it from gun to gun. Works pretty good. Caught most of them. You can unzip it and dump it into whatever you're carrying them in, but it's working pretty good, and it's better than bending over to get your brass all the time. Well, they're shooting a little bit higher, believe it or not. Probably got a little more oomph behind them, but so the first top 2 are kind of off the paper. There's 3 there, and I couldn't remember how many I'd shot, so I kind of went to the end and came back. But you can see there's only 1 on paper there, 2 on paper that I had shot. So I thought I had already started here. Anyways, never mind. But here was the first group. I guess I only put 4 in there. Not too good. Probably 1.5 inches. That's about 2 MOA right there. And the last one, when I finally settled down, there you go. So it's shooting, 55s and 75s. About the same as far as accuracy goes, but we'll see if I can't do a little better when everything's going smooth. So even though we set this gun up as a DMR, it can still work in CQB. 2x10 power scope. At 2, you've got plenty of eye relief, and you've also got a nice wide field of vision, and it's pretty quick. Well, not as quick as a red dot. It's still on, and since it's first focal plane, this works kind of like a red dot at low powers because the reticle gets so small. So let's just see how fast this thing really is. I don't expect it to be like a red dot, but you know, hey, what the heck. So let's see what we can do here. Well, guys, as usual, it's been a blast showing you this DMR. I'm glad we could finally bring it out and show it to you. I think it came out awesome, and it's working great. And we've got a year under our belts with this thing at least, maybe a little more. But it's been fun trying to dial in around. Not quite sure we're there yet, but it's pretty darn close. This scope is awesome. I think the only way I'd replace it would be to go with something MOA, but other than that, I really like it. It does exactly what I need it to do. So, all cool. Thanks again, guys, as usual. You know, check out our Facebook, check out our Instagram, and check out our live streams on Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Central Time. We'll see you there. The chat's awesome. We answer questions, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So come check it out. It's awesome. Again, 8 o'clock right here on Rockford Ordnance Channel. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.